It's your girl Pretty Thick. It's Miss Rose. How's everybody doing in lockdown? It's been quite an interesting journey, internally, externally, mentally, physically, emotionally, professionally. It's just been quite a trip. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope that this video is very insightful. It's something that's very close to my heart, something that's very personal to me, a very personal journey that I've actually went on, because you know, us as women really need to educate ourselves and then educate each other to make sure that, you know, the coming generations, or our sisters and cousins and nieces and just, you know, every young woman around you doesn't necessarily go through what you've went through. And even if they do experience something similar to what you're experiencing, then at least they've had somebody who's been there before to sort of help them out, to sort of be an ear, to sort of advise them and to keep them motivated, to stay hooked and stay motivated and stay hopeful. So today is actually Mother's Day. So it might not be Mother's Day when you watch this video, but today is actually Mother's Day, and I have been quite emotional since the morning. I usually am not so emotional about Mother's Day. It's just that the past 4 years have actually been quite a build-up to the emotions that I think I was experiencing this morning. So you've seen by the title of the video is that I don't know what the stats are. I'll probably look the stats up and maybe I'll like include them. If I don't, thou shalt not judge. But there are quite a number of women in the country and all over the world who have a problem with cystic fibrosis, fibroids, cyst, endometriosis, PCOS, and a whole lot of other, you know, internal situations or issues that cause infertility or the scare of infertility. So I think I was, just to give you guys just the story, so I found out about my fibroids on accident. It wasn't really an accident. So I was about to, I did an exchange program in Canada, and they required a medical test, so a full sort of medical examination situation. And I went to the travel clinic in North Cliff. And when I got there, you know, I did all the tests and I was passing flying colors, eyesight, hearing. Yeah, listen, I was like I was flying. If you fly through a health test. Why are we so competitive? Anyway, so when it was time for her to do like the other kind of examination, so I was kind of lying on the bed. And you know, she, you know, the first thing she did, she just came to my stomach and she just kind of, she took her two hands and she just kind of pressed one time. She didn't even like do a lot of things. She just pressed one time and she looked at me and she's like, "Whoa, are you pregnant?"
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I'm like, no, I'm not pregnant. And if you're saying I'm pregnant, call the papers, because you and me about to make some money, because the Holy Spirit done did it again. I was like, no, I'm not pregnant. And she said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Call the papers." Okay, if you are seeing or feeling a baby in my belly, call the papers. And she was like, "Well, I don't know what's in your stomach. It's either a baby or something else." And I thought, it was quite scary. And she said, "So I can't pass you. You can't be through. You can't be okay. I can't give you like the medical results that you need for this trip. I can't let you travel. So I'm gonna refer you." So she referred me to a radiologist. I went to a radiologist and he did the sonogram, and there it was. It was there was this much of my, like, literally there was just like a little space like this in my uterus left. This whole part was fibroid. And I mean, even still at this point, I'm just kind of like, oh, I want to be very honest, I was completely uneducated about it. I didn't know anything about it. Things like cysts and, you know, uterine issues, it's never really been a thing that I thought about or something that I needed to look up. I just hadn't reached that stage, I guess, in my life where I was really a little bit ignorant, though, I say. So I thought, oh, okay. And at the point when with the radiologist, I was like, okay, sure, what do we do now? And he's like, you need to go see a gynae, or, you know, just go to your doctor first and then ask him to do some tests and then refer you to a gynae specialist, OBGYN, whatever. And I was like, okay. Still at this point, nothing. I'm just like, yo, I just need to get these results in because I just need to submit to Canada. I don't want to miss my timeline and all of that. Go to my doctor. So my doctor is actually quite an optimistic person, as are all doctors, right? But on that day, he was actually like, okay. He was like, do you know what this means? And I was like, no. And he's like, well, one, you're gonna need an operation. I was like, okay. And he said, two, and I didn't want to start with two because I didn't want to scare you, but I need you to mentally prepare yourself because this is not like anything I've ever seen. And yeah, he's like, I want you to mentally prepare yourself because this might not have the outcome that you wanted to. I was like, well, am I gonna die? And he's like, not physically, but a part of you might. I was like, okay. Still at this point, I think it was only at this point where then it started to work in my head, and I said, okay, just break it down to me. And he's like, the possibility of children is on the line. The possibility of having children is on the line with what I'm looking at. And I thought, okay, I don't think that there's, to this day, anything that, that I want more than to be pregnant and have a child and have lots of children. So my dream is to have a very big family, and my dream is to just be a mom. I feel like that's my one true calling, is to be a mom. So I was very scared, but so I went to but I stayed hopeful. You know, we prayed, and I think now it started to, you know, I started to read about it rather, and I started to educate myself a little bit more so that I just had a little bit of context as to what this means. And you know, there was lots of different images and lots of different stories, and I tried to really focus on like the positive stories of, oh no, after I had my fibroids removed, I was great, or I was pregnant and I had a little fibroid and it worked out fine. And obviously there's those stories in between where like, okay, my fibroid, my uterus, excuse me, was beyond repair. Like, and so there were all of those other stories that were in there, but I was like, nope, not gonna be me. But because I also didn't understand, the picture, right? So he obviously had a very good picture, and he's like, this whole thing is the fibroid. And I was like, okay. And he's like, no, I want you to understand that here it must be open space. Like, so basically, if you think about it, when you see a sonogram of like a picture of, like, you know, when somebody has their first scan of the baby, not their first one, somewhere in the middle, never been pregnant, so I don't know how many weeks you gotta be. So there where the baby's laying, you know, you see that white space, and I'm like, yeah, he's like, there's supposed to be nothing in there, so I must be, and that's when I think I got the idea of, it's quite big, isn't it? But even still then I was like, okay. And then I started to, you know, as I was digesting it more, I started to realize, oh my God, it's been years since I've been trying to lose my tummy. Disclaimer, I'm not saying that all my life, all my tummy and whatever. I'm not saying that, but I would lose weight. Like, I would lose weight and my stomach would never go flat. And coming up to the year or a year before I had my examination, I really started to struggle with my stomach, and it was so defined. And I thought it was honestly a spiritual thing, another story. But I thought it was just like also a mental thing. I didn't align it to anything gynecological, which I really think us as women need to take more seriously. All my life, my periods have been the heaviest flow ever, and the period pains were astronomical is the word. Like, I would completely, it was just so painful. I would just like, I wouldn't be able to like function. If I was at work, I would like have to go out or go to the bathroom and sit in the bathroom for like 40 minutes to just try and be by myself and try to mentally. And over the years I've had to try and find different ways to kind of deal with the pain and you know, different kind of medications and all of that. And it was just, to me, just like, oh, period pains. And a few months before having to go to, and obviously after the appointment of, no, a few months before the gynae appointment, no, the appointment for the medical examination for Canada, my flow was in Inca cup. Like, I would be wearing jeans and I would be like sopping wet. But it was just so crazy to me. And only, you know, starting to read about it, I'm like, oh, heavy flow. I just didn't think that heavy flow is a normal thing. Now, and I'm not saying that all heavy flows means you have fibroids. No, I'm just, you know, I think the purpose of this video is to just share my story with you, because I feel like we don't talk about it that often, and we you know, we kind of hide behind that kind of stuff because of the fear. So I went to my gynae's appointment and he did the scan, and he was like, okay, I hope you don't have any plans, because tomorrow I'm doing an operation on you, because you're not going anywhere with this. And I was like, sure. He's like, listen, it's totally up to you, but what I'm seeing here, I don't even know how. I don't even know what I'm going to see when I open. And I know this really sounds like an exaggerated thing, because I feel like every other woman or every other person, you know, you go to the doctor and people will tell you the story, and like, the doctor was so shocked, but he was like, he was freaked out. And I was meeting him for the first time. He's like, I'm not scaring you, but I'm not letting you go with this. My opinion is that I get this out ASAP. I thought, okay, I'm not going nowhere tomorrow. I know I need to get to Canada ASAP. So plans for Canada got pushed back. It was around November of the year 2016. No. Yeah, 16. November 2016. And he's like, tomorrow's the day, you know. And that was it. We went in, and so he came to me in the morning and he said to me, do you understand the whole procedure as I've explained it to you? And I said yes. And he said, do you understand the, what's the word? Okay, I'll find the word. The, you know, what could happen. So the the word, okay, it's fine, but you know, he says, do you understand, obviously the benefits of this is that after this, then you can properly start to plan to have children if that's what you were going for, or you know, your immediate plan was obviously to travel. After your healing, your full entire healing process, then you can start again and all of that. But do you understand that should I not be able to take it out and just leave, I will need to remove your entire system. So basically do a TAH, also known as a hysterectomy. And it was only then when he said it that it took my breath away. I said, you would do that? And he said, I would never do that. He said, I would never do that. He said, I'm going to leave you with this much of a uterus before I take your entire system because you're young. But I want you to know that I'm going to do everything in my power. But there is that point, he called it 0.5%, that I would need to do that. But that's not on my, he says, it's not on my agenda. So I'm going to do whatever I can to at least have you baby making ready, if that's a thing. And I said, sure, do whatever I said, friend, whatever you need to do. I don't have a man right now, but I could pay for one and we could have a baby ASAP. And I went into the operation and I'm not the same, because the operation it was basically a C-section. Yeah, I don't want to insert the pictures of the actual fiber because I said to him, you need to take pictures, I want to see what this looks like. And he said, sure. He said, I need you to understand that I was going to take pictures anyway. But yeah, I said, I want to see the pictures of what it looks like. And he's like, I would love to see the picture of this thing because I've never seen anything so big. I thought, okay, sure. So we had the operation and hi. I've had a number of operations in my life, but so it was basically a C-section, like I said, and it was just so painful. Wow. So it was one of the most painful things that I've ever experienced, but in my head I just focused on the end goal. Oh my goodness, if I hadn't found this out, I would have only found out when I was trying to have a baby, and it might have been too late by then. So I'm fine. It's just be a little bit of pain, and the process of healing was so long, 6 weeks, and it was longer, it was 6 weeks that he told me, rather, and it was a little bit more than that, because I think I don't know, I'm just speaking personally on just the experience that I had for that particular operation. It just took so much longer. I wasn't feeling okay. I wasn't feeling like my uterus was getting strong again. I wasn't feeling like I was strong. Like to this day I still like it gives me chills, I still have to cough in a certain way. I'm still nervous to cough sitting flat. Moms that have had C-sections will know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's just one of those things, and I was just so terrified. And after I went for my checkup, in the middle of the healing process, or after the healing process as well, he said, you're good to go, sis. I was super excited, like, yes. And he's like, but you need to have a baby ASAP. I said, dog, that's not how it works. He says, I know that's not how it works. I'm telling you, you gotta make it work somehow. You need to have a baby. But he said to me, listen, don't rush. I'm here. At least now I've seen what's happening in there. So I'll help you however you need help, and it's gonna be okay. And I thought, okay. So yeah, so that was the story of how I got my fibroids removed. And to give you a brief description, like I said, I'm not going to insert the picture. It is so gross, but very fascinating to see. But when he described it, or when he describes it even now, when he sent me the pictures and the emails, and he said, this is actually, if you were 7 months pregnant and you gave birth early, that's what the size of that thing was. And it actually had a body and a head. Ugh. But I really want to say this, is that go check yourself out. Let's stay educated. Let's read up on things. Let's make getting checkups. Let's normalize getting checkups. Seeing your gynae often. Don't just go see your gynae when something is wrong or when you're trying to achieve something. Just go in there and just check that everything is okay. But also have faith, in as much as it's difficult to answer people's questions, and I say this all the time, y'all got one more time to ask me when I'm gonna have a baby. One more time. Because if you keep asking people that, you don't know what people are going through. You don't have any idea. So when people see you coming in, it's not I don't owe it to everybody to go to them and tell them, oh, I was in the hospital removing my fibroids. That's why I haven't had a baby right now. But also that's not the reason why I haven't had a baby. So I haven't been trying to have a baby. But getting to that point of being so close to actually not being able to make a baby was just super scary. And it's only then, I was what, 28 when that came out, obviously, when I started to go on this journey of, oh my goodness, I need to make sure that I'm set, I need to make sure that I get regular checkups, I need to make sure that, you know, I do what I need to do. But I was only 28 when this came to me, and this didn't come to me because of trying to have a baby. So then, do you then go on a journey of now wanting to have a baby just because you want to appease other people, or even just because you want to prove something to people? You have nothing to prove. You have absolutely nothing to prove. And I really wish everybody well in the journey of getting yourself checked out and making sure that you are well knowledged on everything that's happening in your body and everything that you need to do.